in the past day, I spent most of yesterday packing up the very few belongings that I have left from the first flood. To go through that again is extremely traumatic. I'm also on the phone with my employer trying to discuss going on leave without pay at the same time, and considering what the disaster allowance means for me, which is the equivalent of job seeker allowance, which doesn't really pay for my mortgage or bills. So honestly, it really has been one thing after the other. It's catastrophic, and it's really difficult to connect with services, and there's no temporary accommodation available. So really, there's really no words to describe what's happening currently, and that my situation isn't unique either.
Harper, what do you know about the waters at your place at the moment?
So at the moment, it will definitely be in the house again. So the first flood, it was 5 centimeters from the roof. This time, with what they've currently predicted, it would be about halfway up to the roof. And that's if we don't get any more rain. But as our local member, Janelle Saffin, has already said on ABC radio earlier today, a lot of us locals are losing faith in the official reporting because of the SES and the Bureau of Meteorology giving such mixed messages. A lot of us don't really have faith in that, so it's a bit hard to know what actually is going to happen.
Tell us about the work that you'd put into cleaning your place up after that flood about 4 weeks ago, and the work that you'd put into moving back in.
I've been there every single day for the last month. The cleaning is just unimaginable unless you're there. It's 5 centimeters thick mud. Thankfully, I've had a lot of friends come in and help me. The ADF has been amazing. However, they were only deployed about a week and a half after. Most people by that time had already started the cleanup and done the significant tasks such as removing the furniture. Their help is greatly appreciated, but unfortunately they were deployed a little bit too late. So every single day I have been cleaning. The majority I have done by myself. I was just at the point where I was about to move back in, even though it still would be classed as uninhabitable. I can't get a temporary accommodation, even though I've tried to contact the associated services. They just tell me there's nothing available. So my only option was to move back into my home in a tent, and the power just got turned back on, and by all accounts that's now destroyed. I just got a washing machine donated, that's now destroyed. So really it's like square one but worse because you're going through it all again.
You do seem very calm talking to us right now about this, but are you yourself experiencing a sense of disbelief right now that you are back thinking, I suppose, about having to go back and do that cleanup all over again?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, disbelief and shock. It's really hard to conceptualize what it is until you actually get to the house. And I think that's when the trauma and the adrenaline sets in for you. But also, I'm just angry. I'm very angry at the failure of the government, both state and federal, to help our area. There's lots of talks about inquiries and studies that have already been done, and very limited talks on actually relocating the town. And if you've had a once in 100-year flood 2 times in a month, you really have to start thinking about what can we do to relocate the town, as opposed to spending another 2 years talking about a study that will probably go nowhere.
And is that where you sit on this issue now? You would like to actually be relocated? Do you have concerns about moving back into your house, the house that you indeed own with a mortgage?
Yes, of course. I bought my first house 2 years ago, which was very difficult. I've worked extremely hard my entire life to do that. I would not feel comfortable ever putting furniture back in that house. The highest I got quoted I could raise my house, which was $50,000 that I couldn't afford anyway, it still would have flooded. There's a lot of options and availability to subdivide larger blocks in Gunnellabar, and there's a lot of solutions that could help us to relocate those homes into larger blocks if they're allowed to subdivide, and if there's political will to cut some of that red tape and make it accessible for everybody. Because a lot of people on the floodplains are on a lower income, including myself. I do work extremely hard, but as I said, to raise a house is $50,000. It still would have flooded. So at this point, it would probably be cheaper to actually relocate those houses that are most vulnerable on the low-lying areas, and to start looking at how we can either move the CBD, or at the very least, move the businesses up to the apartments and focus on housing those people who are previously in the apartments.